The Right to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. That's right. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code RTRS when you sign up. And brought to you I'm going to have to learn how to say that the right way. And brought to you by Nature Pet Food. It is slow cooked with super fusion. Use code RTRS20 at Chewy for 20% off your first By Nature order. That's chewy.com. And the Colony Meadery, the official gluten-free booze made from honey of the process. Big show today. The Hoagie Hour guys return. Tony T and Tommy from down the shore. Their top 20 food list just shook up the internet last week. I can't wait to talk about Diamond Tap. Sixers Adam released just the signature piece of writing he'll ever release today on the Brian Colangelo Burnergate scandal. Somehow that's become more popular with us during the COVID-19 offseason. A complete retrospective. We will discuss that. Sixers over-unders for the Hostage Orlando Disney playoffs. We will announce the total amount of money raised for the Brotherly Love script release and some mailbag stuff. Few things. The Corner 3 newsletter with Zoe starts tomorrow officially, his first one. So
maybe today, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, Thursday. I guess this is date agnostic. So maybe it's already over. Maybe you fucking missed it. But go to rightsrickysanchez.com/newsletter. You'll get all of Zoe's stuff. Plus, we're going to put a promo code in there for our merch, which is 10% off all our merch all the time. The promo code will change every 2 weeks, so you can't unsubscribe for the newsletter ever. So that starts on Thursday. So that's rightsrickysanchez.com/newsletter. And we wanted to send out some love to a long-time Rights to Ricky Sanchez guy, like from the very beginning. Chris Mico, his brother Bill, passed away at 32 years old the other night. If you're a Twitter person, maybe you saw the photos. Bill was a great dude, was a Ricky guy. Chris told me that he drove from Michigan to go to the lottery party that was at Miller's, I think, either the Miller's one or the Buffalo Wild Wings one. And then he lived in Michigan, so he would go to Sixers Pistons games in Auburn Hills. And 32 years old is a very young, terrible age to pass away. And wanted to send our love to Chris and the rest of his family and say that we'll miss Bill. The funny thing was, Chris said to me, he was like, he wasn't a Twitter guy at all, though. And I was like, boy, I like him even more. I wish I knew him better. So all of our love to the Mico family, and rest in peace, Bill. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
Larry, sweetie, the man is here.
Say the name, I say the name, I say the name.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who did arguably the most work he's ever done for the pod in editing the Sixers Adam opus about Brian Colangelo and someone not out to get him. That is Mike Levin.
Yeah.
You happy with how it turned out?
I am. Adam did a great job, and I'm a writer. I'm not like an editor. It's a different skill.
Mm-hmm.
But you read, as a writer, you read plenty of people's scripts and whatever books or anything, and so you give thoughts and stuff. But I've never worked with someone like this, in like a going back and forth, and ultimately wanting it to be his thing, but still trying to like guide it or shape it or something.
Yeah.
So it was a different kind of experience. But yeah, I mean, I cared about that thing.
Yeah.
I was up late. Adam doesn't sleep for
No.
teenage reasons.
Yeah,
And
you see the
and so
tweets
we
at all
went through
different
it.
fucking times with Adam. The 2
Yeah,
a.m. tweets, 7 a.m. tweets.
It's a great piece of writing, and really well researched. He really dug into it for weeks and weeks. So have a cocktail, read the whole thing, take a trip down memory lane.
Cheers to Sixers, Adam. Even though you
Yeah,
can't have any
it's
of that.
good. You should read it. I mean, there's things that were on there that I didn't remember, and I think there's things on there that you don't know at all. So give it a read. It really puts it together in a cohesive way. Oh, by the way, I haven't told you this.
It was a crazy time. To your
Crazy
point
time.
about not remembering it, I don't remember anything from that. I just sort of remember that it happened. So reading it like that, I thought was good. So by the way, go ahead.
By the way, I didn't tell you this. Someone, and it's very apt that the sirens are going off now.
Yeah.
Because with Colangelo, with this story, it's always sirens. I've been putting out the call for a while now of wanting to know just what the hell that law firm does.
Right. These
That
sorts of
specializes in these kinds of things. And I've been saying that for a while. And someone with insight into firms like this one in the city, there's not many.
Insight into firms that specialize in these kinds.
These types of things, that's right. And I'm dancing around it. Trying to, things are on the record, off the record. I can say what I can say. Pointed to me like other matters that this firm, I think it's called like Weiss and what is it, Weiss and something?
Weiss and something.
Handled.
I love.
This is the scoop.
Yeah,
this is the
all right.
scoop.
Well,
Let me have it.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna let you have it. Can I just say, I love watching you try to figure out how you're gonna say what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I don't want to breach any trust or anything. But they also did an investigation into Deflategate.
Wow.
I think on behalf of the NFL. And like looking through like Tom Brady's texts and stuff to his like group of friends or whatever, as well as the racist Richie Incognito thing.
Oh, the bullying
that?
scandal. Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of like just weird sports investigations and like white collar intra organization something, as well as the one of the Roger Ailes lawsuits at Fox News.
Well, I mean, I think I would have to say that specializing in these kinds
of things, exactly. So that maybe that was totally accurate. I was expecting it to not be accurate, but it turns out. I would say that I believe very strongly that Burnergate is far weirder than any of those things.
Yeah.
And whatever work that this law firm did on it is significantly less work than Sixers Adam, than Legs, and a number of other people on Sixers Twitter that are noted in Adam's piece. So I can't recommend Sixers Adam's tweets or piece enough.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. It earned him a follow from Daryl Morey.
That's right.
And there were just two. I don't want to give it away. It's a very long piece, so I'm not giving anything away. Can I just point out two things that I didn't remember that were funny to me? Well, one that reminded me of it. The other one that I had never seen. So the one was one of their tweets. One of the tweets was to Stephen A. Smith, and I don't know why this is so funny to me, but it is supposed to read, "Show how a grown black man can show respect to a young black man." But black man is capitalized and one word. So
one word is a fun part.
Yeah. So if you read it, it show how a grown black man can show respect to a young black man, which was very funny to me. And then the other one is the Grayson Allen workout. I had completely forgotten about the Grayson Allen workout. And I think we all were like, wait a minute, what the fuck is he doing there at the workout? Because Colangelo was there, and we were angry at that point,
That's right.
Yeah.
There was also so these guys all followed me, all the burners, and I muted a bunch of them. I think you did the same thing. And so Adam has been occasionally sending me tweets that they sent to me.
Yeah.
And Still Balling said, to me that I am a closed-minded bigot, just like Donald Trump. So he's got me pegged.
But that's the other thing, is that Adam has a collection of tweets that nobody has seen. Like, because it's a protected account, I guess, and...
Oh, they protected those things very quick.
Yeah. Just unreal. Great job, Sixers Adam. Congratulations, Sixers Adam. And it'll actually be a two-piece week for Sixers Adam, because he wrote something on the thing that we're about to talk about. So after literally hundreds of attempts at getting DraftKings Sportsbook to do a weird pool, I finally picked one that was normal enough and weird enough for them to agree. So if you go to you can join it now. So it's all over. So here's the deal in the pool. You can win $500. It's free to enter. PA, if you're in PA. If you just go to our website, if you go to RightsRickySanchez.com and look at the black bar up top, there's a link to join it right there on the app. So it's free. So what it is a collection of over-unders for the entire length of the Sixers playing in Orlando, including regular season and postseason games. You have to answer all the questions, and the person that gets the most right gets the $500. So thanks, DraftKings Sportsbook, for that. So Sixers Adam made his picks, as well as confidence for each picks, and that'll be out. It'll be in the newsletter. It'll be in Zoe's newsletter on Thursday, and it'll be on the site. I want to run through these over-unders with you, and I want you to give me your picks as a help to the listeners to try to win $500.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this includes all 8 regular season games and whatever playoff games they play, and that will come into account like later on. It'll become more important later on, even in the beginning. So total made threes from Ben Simmons, including 8 regular season games and however many postseason games there are. Remember, no crowd, all away. Over under 2.5.
Is this my guess for what the line is, or my guess for what happens?
Guess what happens. The line's 2.5. That's what people will have to guess.
Oh, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say under.
Really? I don't know.
2.5 made threes?
Yeah, I don't know.
How many did he make all season?
2. No, 1, right? It was 1. It was just the Knicks one, right? Just the Knicks one. The China one doesn't count. So I think it was just the Knicks one. For some reason, I think it's going to go over. I don't know why.
I mean, it certainly might. But like you say, when you talk about the team succeeding,
yeah,
all evidence points to the fact that it hasn't.
That's a very good point.
Safe money is on no.
Okay. The next one is total games started by Al Horford. Over under 4.5.
I'd probably say safe money's on over, on the chance that Embiid sits here and there, or Ben or Tobias. Or I think pretty much no matter what, just for the way that Brett operates and like respects Al.
Yeah.
I would say that if any of the starters are hurt, Al
Al
is the fill-in starter.
Yeah. And then they're depending on playoff matchup too, because this counts for playoffs too. So, all right. Total minutes played by Marial Shayok. Over under 12.5.
Under. Hit it hard.
You don't think there's going to be a total meaningless game where he plays like a whole half? That's what I'm thinking about.
No, I don't think he'll dress.
Okay. All right. Under. Okay.
Because there's plenty of guys that would. You know what I mean?
All right. Total games played by Joel Embiid. Over under 20.5.
So
you figure he plays 6 of 8 regular season games, or 7. There is one back-to-back in there. It's a good one.
20.5. So 8, and then say both first and second round series go to 7, would be 22.
Correct.
And it's 20.5?
Correct.
I feel like the under's pretty safe.
The under? Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
I hope it's not.
Yeah. The
but
evidence.
it's a safe, as far as what's safe money,
Yeah.
I think the under is safe money.
Okay. Shake Milton, 3-point percentage.
I feel like I'm going to say over.
I know. Over under 38.8.
Oh, yeah.
Over.
Could have doubled it. I would have still said over.
Okay. Higher 3-point percentage in the playoffs. Matisse Thybulle or Robert Covington?
God. Come on now. He's not going to miss.
Oh, Thybulle?
No.
Oh,
Covington won't
Covington.
miss.
All right. Okay, good. All right. So I did some research on this one and actually did the math that sort of similar to the math you did with Embiid in that this number is right around where it should be. That's what I'll say. Total games where Tobias Harris has more field goal attempts than he has points. Over under 4.5. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get to the line. That's Tobias's fatal flaw and why Jimmy is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Friggin' Rockets Adam tweeting about Jimmy Butler, how excellent of a season he had.
He just fucking lit everybody up out of nowhere. Yeah.
Shot, was it on like 2 point? I tweeted at him and he didn't respond because he's too scared. He tweeted like what a season he had, and it's like, yeah, he played well as the focal point of an offense with like a ton of shooters around him that he can just be like fine with. But in the playoffs, he's not going to get that whistle where he gets fouled as much as he did, and he's just missing threes and not taking them, which is honestly nice.
Yeah.
That Jimmy is doing that. I know we're talking about Tobias, but it's honestly nice to see Jimmy shoot 2.3 attempts from three per 36 minutes.
With a bunch of shooters around.
But that's so low.
Yeah.
And he shot 24.8%.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's really, really bad. That's worse than everyone on the Sixers except for Jonah Bolton and Zaire Smith, who shot 0.
Mm-hmm. So Tobias.
Anyway, Jimmy's not gonna get that whistle in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
Total game.
I will say over. I think here and there, like probably one game in the regular season, he'll go like 8 of 22 for like 19 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the playoffs a couple times, just because it's the playoffs.
Josh Richardson,
like that.
assists per game, 3.1 over under. He's going to play a lot of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to need to handle the ball, even though we know, here's what I'm thinking, is because this number seems high, but if they play Toronto or Boston, Ben's going to be off ball a lot, and it just can't be Shake Milton the entire time. And I'll
say over. I'll say over.
Okay. 2 more. Joel Embiid made threes per game. Now, this number is going to seem low, but he has never averaged this number in his career. Joel Embiid made threes per game over under 1.5.
Over.
Yeah, I'm going over as well. And then finally, and this was his number from this season, Norvel Pell fouls per 36 minutes, over under 7.9.
Over.
It's free at DraftKings Sportsbook, $500. Just go to our site, go to rightsrickysanchez.com, the black thing up top. Just click it, and it'll be right there. Also in the app, you can play casino games, play a little blackjack, play a little roulette, basketball roulette. Also MLS betting. Thursday morning, Union start the MLS tournament at 9 a.m. They are plus 220 to win, and I think they're plus 1,600 to win the tournament. Download. You can. By the way, love the DraftKings app. Easy to deposit money, easy to withdraw. It's right here in the States. You don't have to worry about it, and now legal in PA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code RTRS to play up to $200 of casino games risk-free. That's promo code RTRS to play risk-free up to $200 for your first 24 hours of casino play on DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only, in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Penn National Racecourse. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So before
those guys get on there, do you want to talk about the DeSean and Steven Jackson thing?
They're not going to be here for another 15 minutes, so we can talk about DeSean and we can talk about the. Do you want to talk about the money and then DeSean and then they'll be here? The brotherly love, or do you want to start with just do DeSean and we can do brotherly love?
Let's do DeSean now. Just like get there.
Okay.
You're always better at leading these things, so you say it.
Well, everyone knows what happened. Do you just want me to say what I think, or
just a quick
yeah, okay,
summary of what happened in case there's people who aren't as online as
yes.
most of our audience?
A quick summary. And by the way, at the beginning of this, you had to be super online because it was so. It's not quite as straight as it seems to be. On Sunday night, I believe, or Monday morning, late Sunday night, DeSean Jackson posted a screenshot of what looks to be a book with a quote, not specifically a quote, but verbiage attributed to Adolf Hitler, suggesting that Jewish people would do their best to suppress African Americans, because suppress black people, because they know that black people are the true Israelites, and that they would, I don't know the total verbiage, but there's more negative stuff about Jewish people in there. So he posts that. It comes to, nobody really catches on until Monday night. And then by Tuesday morning, it's sort of all over the place. Kyle Neubeck did his best to explain what it was. It was basically, it came from like a video that was paraphrasing Louis Farrakhan, who, if you don't know, Louis Farrakhan is it's hard to describe Farrakhan, but is a known, a lot of hate in Louis Farrakhan. Anti-Semite. Anti-gay. He was very big in like the late 80s, early 90s. You heard a lot about Louis Farrakhan as a bad leader, if you want to call him that, in an African-American leader. So it was sort of like paraphrasing Louis Farrakhan. There were a couple of successive Instagram posts where DeSean Jackson appeared to try to apologize, but crossed out all the stuff that didn't have Hitler in it, which was sort of comical, that he didn't understand that it was the Hitler part that was the problem. And then it blows up. The Eagles release a statement pretty harshly condemning it. DeSean Jackson releases a video apology where he said that he probably shouldn't have included anything from Adolf Hitler. And
you can lose that probably, my man.
Probably. And I apologize for laughing because it's so. Somebody said to me at work on Tuesday, well, 2020 finally got to Hitler. I didn't think we were going to get to Hitler. And it's just amazing that we're here. I'm not laughing at the content. I'm laughing at the fact that we're even fucking talking about Hitler at this point. He does a video that is obviously not written by anybody. He was trying to say it, but he did the very much, I apologize to anyone who was offended.
Sure.
Love Jewish people.
Which are basically 90% of apologies.
Yes, right.
Publicly.
Yes, absolutely. And then it evolved, as things do, to Steven Jackson, former NBA player, and last year was a Big Three player, basically suggesting that, sort of conflating the Black Lives Matter movement with this, and then going on to say that DeSean Jackson was right and Jews own all the banks. Steven Jackson did it one night and then like sort of doubled down today. So that is the entire story. Oh, and then there was another statement from DeSean Jackson, the Notes app written statement, dark mode Notes app written statement that was, I don't want to be accusatory, but pretty clearly not written by him. That was the exact sort of apology that should have happened in the first place. Very clear, very succinct, very, this was wrong, this was horrible, so on and so forth.
Yeah. I think what you said about, like, obviously it's we've been doing this for years, right? Like, it's 2012, we're still doing this. It's 2015, we're still doing it. It's like, we're going to keep doing this because there's always going to be racists and anti-Semites and homophobes and against so many religions and races all the time. And a lot of the time, those people exist and hold elected office and go to places, but they just like kind of couch their beliefs, just shy of Hitler. We've made it as a society so like, well, no one can say Hitler and like be respectable. There's like a respectability level that they have to clear. You can hold a lot of Hitler's beliefs and still like hold elected office in this country.
Hitler is the line.
You can't go full. Yeah. You can't go full Hitler.
Hitler's the line. Like saying Hitler.
Hopefully the line is earlier, but it's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Like I'm listening to, there's a podcast, the new Slow Burn, which first season was about Watergate and second season was about the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky scandal, and third season was about Tupac and Biggie. Mm-hmm. This season is about David Duke. It's on Slate. It's a really good podcast. I recommend it. And it's just like, yeah, this guy was like, the leader of the KKK. Yeah. And then he was like, okay, in order to run for office, I need to pretend like I don't believe those things anymore. Mm-hmm. And then he ran for office and like won sometimes. And it's just, there's those guys exist. Like we're not that far away from when all of these things were okay in some places or like kept quiet but happening in some places. And there's a lot of bigotry like in the world in all sorts of directions. And this is why obviously at the moment the Black Lives Matter movement is now the biggest civil rights movement in this country's history. And the amount of protesting has been inspiring and inspiring to me and start making a difference in a lot of places. And there's still a long way to go, but really impressive organizing on their part in making tangible, functional change in both hearts and minds and in policy. But there's videos every day. You see a fucking like people blaming Asian Americans for the coronavirus and just coming out and saying stuff. It's just there's obviously been anti-Muslim rhetoric especially since 9/11. And it persists. A ton of friggin' anti-LGBTQ and specifically anti-trans, not just rhetoric, but when the rhetoric becomes physical and a lot of trans folks are getting murdered and nobody just seems to do anything about it. There's just a lot of hate in the world. And what is always distressing to see is when different marginalized groups don't stand up for each other.
Right.
And make it seem, and I'm going to fumble through this because I'm not, excellent at speaking about this, but it's very, I know a lot of Jews, obviously. I'm Jewish. I was very involved in my synagogue growing up, and my parents still are. And the Jews are I know a lot of Jews who are like fucking ready with that anti-Semitism button. They're like, they have that, the buzzer in Celebrity Taboo.
No, I don't know what Celebrity Taboo is.
Okay, it's a dumb game, but it's like they're ready to go all the time. Like if somebody does it, like they rally the troops, the fucking cars, like sirens come on, and it's anti-Semitism, ready to go. Rightfully so. Jews have been through a fucking lot over the decades, but Jews are really ready to hit that anti-Semitism button when they see it out in the wild.
Yeah,
and they're not. To a lot of times, not just they. Every marginalized group does this, but like it's disheartening when I see people say, hey, rightfully call out that's anti-Semitism, but be more reluctant to call out racism, or be more reluctant to call out homophobia, or any sort of bigotry against another religion. But in order to fully believe the shit you're saying, you have to stand up for people who aren't just you. The powers that be and, agents of chaos or terrorism or whatever it is are always trying to divide people. And you got to stand up for everybody. Like, you got to stand up for everybody's rights. Obviously, Jews don't control the media. I'd be making so much more money if I controlled the media.
That show would have been picked up.
That show would have been picked up so much. And honestly, like, there's a difference between, I mean, we can go through this forever, but like the difference between, I've faced anti-Semitism, but not much because I pass.
Yeah.
Like I'm a white guy.
Well,
and I get the benefit of the doubt. No cops are pulling me over being like, wait, were you raised in a synagogue? And like my life's at risk. That's not happening. But there are, there was shooting in Pittsburgh not too long ago at a synagogue. And all this, there keeps being this stuff. And it just, we have to have empathy for each other and stand up for groups that aren't just you. There's like everyone said, there's I'm going to butcher the quote, but like first they came for the whoever. I never know that quote.
And
I
then
should
they
just
come for,
memorize it.
and then they come.
Yeah, but then no one was left to
Yeah.
speak for me.
Yeah.
And it's upsetting. And so obviously, heinous. Don't bring Hitler up. Don't bring Hitler up positively. We don't need to do that. But there's things a lot, much very shy of Hitler, that are also bad and also anti-Semitism that we need to stand up for. And in additionally, racism and homophobia and just absolute bigotry towards Muslim Americans and Asian Americans and whoever, everybody, just stop condemning and discriminating based on race, gender, or religion, or sexual orientation, or a million other things. Just stop, and we need to stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. I don't know. I don't know if I said anything that made sense.
I think that was well said about having...
Well fumbled.
No, but it means that you're being honest. I would... the only two things I would add is, you as a Jewish guy, but pass as a white guy, you don't walk around wearing a yarmulke, you're not Orthodox, you don't, there are, visually, there are a lot of Jews that don't pass in that way and are discriminated against that way, and you can't put it... I've been criticized a lot, and I've actually thought about it a lot, like when I've been on the air and I've said something like I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in God. I've never been to synagogue or anything like that. So I say I'm not Jewish. But then I would get emails saying this is a heritage too. This is not just your religion. This is more than that, and you should respect it. And I think a lot of times, you'll have people who you could say, oh, you just take the yarmulke off. Well, that's not what you're supposed to have to do in the United States. That the freedom of religion and not be discriminated against or get your ass kicked should happen here. And the other thing I would say about DeSean, because it is wild to say that you don't know that he even knew what he was talking about. I am not this person said this, he's fired, he's gone, never hear from him again. That's not how I am. My thing, and this was when Drew Brees says what he said, albeit very different than quoting Hitler incorrectly, was that if you believe in the person as a person, then it is an opportunity to educate and tell them why what they did was wrong is wrong. And if the Eagles believe that DeSean Jackson is a person who will listen, because I think the biggest problem in our country right now is a lack of empathy. We don't think about what everybody else is going through. We only think about what we're going through. And if you believe that he can listen and be empathetic, then I'm perfectly willing to teach him why he shouldn't quote Hitler. I almost think that he couldn't have possibly understood how bad it was, or he wouldn't have done it.
Right, but he's also a grown man.
He is 100% responsible, but we all grow up at a different rate. And I'll tell you, athletes do not have to grow up at the same, everything is done for them at a certain point. I'm not making excuses for him. It's fucking terrible. And if they go to him and they say, this is what you have to learn and this is what you have to do, and he's not willing, then fuck it. Then he's done. But I agree with everything that you say, and especially about if the marginalized groups don't stand up for each other, then it makes every stand that you take seems a little more disingenuous. So I think that is important.
Yeah, I would also add, I mentioned, indigenous folks, Native Americans, especially after, now that there's a finally some sort of group reckoning for teams to change their names, when people have been telling them that it is harmful and racist for decades. Yeah. And also, the people were protesting in South Dakota, the Mount Rushmore, which is just there's always, you just gotta stand up for people, man. You gotta stand up for people and be like, hey, if this is racist or bigoted against that group, and they say, hey, this is bigoted against us, then we say all right, fuck that. Have a strong moral compass for demanding equality and justice and treating people a certain way.
And at least strong enough to not quote Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very
You
least.
could probably
at the,
lay that down
at the base.
for
Yeah.
as the top of every list.
Yeah. Well, in the pivot of all pivots,
That's right.
we go from that to the two guys that wrote the most important top 20 food list of 2020, the hosts of the Hoagie Hour, Tommy from down the shore and Tony to Tony. What's up, yous assholes?
Yo, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, what's up, dickheads?
Yo, how are you feeling tonight?
How are you
Do you
guys
ever
doing?
wonder if it's gonna get stuck like that?
Yeah, man, what do you
It
mean?
usually does.
Yeah, this is au naturel. How you doing it?
Sometimes, it's like something about Mary, right? Like you go piss
Yeah.
and you're it's out and your zipper's up, and sometimes it gets stuck. It's okay.
Frank and beans.
No
You know
big
what I mean?
deal.
So I wanted to know, before we get to the food list, which was obviously very popular and people have been dying to hear from you, I wanted to know how quarantine is going for each one of you, how you guys have been handling it. Tommy, obviously we've heard from you on WIP, but the Ricky listenership has not heard from you. And Tony, we haven't heard from you at all during quarantine.
Well, I've been doing what I'm working out, eating bologna sandwiches, which is, on our list, I've been watching sitcoms. I've been dancing. Yeah, doing what I do, man. Yeah.
He's a good ass dancer. I'll just be honest with you. Like, I know that, you don't know him like that. But do you ever go to Egypt back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, I never went to Egypt, though I do remember when they had the underage nights.
Well, let me tell you, man, Egypt back in the day, Tommy was like squeezing
Yeah.
the floor with his ass cheeks. It was wild, man. It was wild.
Oh, man, we used to roll in there like Voltron, man. Dancing machines. Tony's pretty good, too. He taught me a lot of the moves I know.
When
And how-
I got
how are
hurt
you
though that
now?
one time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So
Have your knees held up from the dancing then?
Yeah, a little bit.
My
great.
knees are still okay. My back ain't good though.
Yeah, and I got feet. One of my feet is kind of weaker than the other. You know what I mean?
I got feet.
I mean, we all got feet, but, they're different.
We do got feet. Thank God.
and Tony, your the quarantine, how's it
I don't
been?
tell them too much, Tony, because it's undisclosed.
I know. I mean, look I just got to be honest. Things got a little wild where I was. There was a lot of people living in the house with me, and I was feeling a little weird, like unsafe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody takes baths enough. You know what I mean? And like they're coming in and out, and they're going to the store, and then I'm like, yo, I gotta be out. So I took my car and I just went all the way down to Myrtle Beach because it's popping down there. You can still, do your thing. I got a little job at Fat Harold's Beach Club down off Main Street, and I just been chilling.
All right. Wearing a mask, both of you, I assume.
Oh, yeah. All the time, man.
I sleep in a mask.
Yeah. And, for all those bozos out there don't want to wear a mask, grow up.
Yeah.
Okay? Grow up.
Grow up. So I wanted to talk about the food list. I'm glad that everyone got to experience this. It seems like, and coming in at number 20 and making several appearances through the list is Stroman's bread.
Yeah.
I want to know how it was assembled. Was it one? You guys go one at a time, or was this like a?
How do you
You
agree?
guys talked it out and really battled it out for what
Well,
you
we
go
really
with.
know what each other eats, you know what I mean?
Sure.
All these years of, hanging out,
This-
going to
this-
eat.
you have the exact same food list.
Pretty much, yeah. We went back and forth a little bit,
Yeah,
but,
if we was backstage, this would be like our rider.
Yeah. Yeah, it's where we try to stay real healthy, you know what I mean?
Also, sometimes, like he knows what I eat, I know what he eats, but at the same time, there's a couple little curveballs in there, so, sometimes you got to be like, oh, damn, all right, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Like prunes, that was a newer one. you know?
Yeah.
They're delicious, though. I've been eating them, man. That's a really good thing. I got to be honest, man. They're just very delicious.
Yeah,
and
they're
you're
like
right.
big-ass raisins, you know what I
Very
mean? They're
big
really
raisins. They're
Yeah,
gigantic
They're
raisins.
delicious. And they get you moving.
What about an apricot?
I like a little apricot, dried if it can be.
Is that,
you know?
what is that, like a peach?
It's sort of.
Yeah, like a wrinkled, pruny peach.
That sounds like my type.
Yeah, that's yeah, Tone.
Look, I'm just gonna be honest. Down Myrtle, it's a little,
Yeah,
there's
it's
a
a little
lot
different.
going on.
Yeah, it's a little different
Right.
down here.
That's right. Okay, Spike had a Stroman's bread question.
Yeah,
You go ahead.
just Strowman seems to be the cornerstone, the keystone of the list in general. Even though it's not number one, Strowman seems to be the most important food.
Yeah, but you look at this ain't ranked 1 to 20. These are all the same to me. And we had a list of like 85, 90 things, but we had to get it down because you guys, you talk about a lot of important stuff on the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. And we wanted to put, the healthiest ones we could find.
like
on there.
fruit roll-ups.
Yeah, vitamin C.
Yeah.
gotta
You
get
could
your
take
vitamin
these in
C.
any. You could take these in any order, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
you just go ahead.
You know what it is? I think with Tone and I, it's like we got a certain philosophy. It's like your body is like a machine. Your body's not a wonderland. I don't know what John Mayer you're talking about. Your body is a machine.
Yeah, you got to work hard to keep it really working. You know what I mean?
Right. And the food is like the gasoline that you put into the machine. You know what I mean?
So that's when something like chocolate water ice from John's on 7th comes in.
That's right.
Yeah. I had a question about the water ice.
Yeah.
As a guy who worked at Rita's for a number of years in high school, your opinions on, so you say chocolate water ice is the best one. You said lemon is trash, cherry is for little kids, blue is usually good too, but your tongue is all blue for like 2 days. Can you speak on that?
Tom?
Well, yeah, Tony's more of a water ice expert than me. I'm not too picky.
I just
but,
want to give you space.
Yeah, listen, man. I like every kind of water ice, because it's better than ice cream. That's the bottom line. I'll take any kind of water ice over ice cream. But, Tony's a little more of an aficionado, Wouldn't you say, Tony?
Yeah, well, look, here's the thing, okay? Lemon, you can't be eating a whole thing of lemon. You ever eat like 1-2 bites of lemon, it's all right. You know what I mean? It's like you eat a whole big ass thing of that, you got a real problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Cherry is for little kids. You don't order that as an adult. Ain't no grown man going down there going, yeah, let me get a cherry. You know
What about cherry is for little kids?
It's like training wheels for water ice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's training wheels, man. You guys can't be fucking ordering cherry.
You ain't
And
tough
then-
if you're doing that, man.
Yeah, and then blue is good, but if you eat enough blue, your tongue ain't right, And now COVID, you gotta be real careful because you got weird symptoms sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I noticed you spelled COVID with a T at the end.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled.
I wasn't sure, but Tony told me that's it. So that's what I went with. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Did you guys, when you wrote this, did you do like a voice to type?
No, we wrote it on like a notebook.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't.
And then you,
man,
and then you mailed it to
we don't
Spike,
worry
and
too
Spike
much. Yeah, we
typed
go
it.
from the feeling. We don't.
Chocolate though is sexy, you know what I mean? All things chocolate is sexy, you know what I mean? So if you're
Oh, yeah.
grown, you need to get the grown and sexy flavors, which is chocolate, and also is water ice. It's like, if you take a girl out, right? Take her on a date, you get her, you get to the water ice stage of the date.
Uh-huh.
You can't be ordering no cherry, bro.
No.
No, hell no.
Okay. So I had a couple of quantity questions. The first one is soup salad and breadsticks at Olive Garden comes in number 6. Obviously, nowadays nobody's dining inside. Does that make Olive Garden off limits, or is there a way around it to get the unlimited salad and breadsticks with a curbside pickup?
Oh, I mean, look it. These are hard times. We got to make sacrifices for each other. You know what I'm saying? But they should honestly. What Olive Garden should be doing right now is setting up outside like a picnic, and just soup salad and sticking everybody.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm
I'd be
gonna
doing.
clip that whole sort of phrase and just we're gonna roll that out as an Olive Garden commercial.
And
I got some friends. They're gonna want to know that Tony T thinks it's a hard time.
You can
And
do.
here's how we go.
You stay outside for a picnic, right? And you cut a little hole in the mask so you can eat the breadstick through there, but you keep the mask on. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that might make the mask less effective.
Right. That's why you gotta stay 20 feet away from everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Good
You
point.
know, it's
Really
like
good point.
distance eating. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And before we get to your number one,
All right, it's got to be a pretty big hole to fit a breadstick in.
Right. You gotta get the salad in there too. you
yeah.
know?
Right.
It's
So, like,
hard to eat soup in that thing too.
Yeah, that's
right.
your soup's tough. Drink it out of a cup maybe or a mug, and you can get it
Yeah,
in there a
slurp
little
it.
easier than the spoon. You know, it's science, man. It's all science.
Number 4 was the Wawa meatball hoagie, which you would order with extra meatballs, extra sauce, and an extra roll on the side.
Yeah, extra hoagie, right? I mean, that's
You got to make the most of every day, Spike.
You could just 2 Wawa meatball hoagies.
Yeah, it's
would be
one. You just got to get extra, so you never know what you're going to need.
It's a
Gotta plan
bonus.
ahead.
Bonus. It's a
Got to
bonus.
plan ahead, guys. Come on.
Oh man.
Talk to me about. I feel like funnel cake is an underrated
Yeah.
Philadelphia, New Jersey item.
Well, yeah, we consider that like breakfast food. You know, like in the list. Get up in the morning. What you do is eat half the funnel cake first, then slam a whole bottle of orange soda. And then, you see how you feel. Eat the other half, slam a second bottle of orange soda.
And how generally would you feel?
You throw up at the end of it, but that's, that gives you a nice boost. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I seen Tony T do that like at least 20 times, man.
Endorphins, man. That's important.
Yeah, that's like, it's a vitamin blast, Sugar vitamin. You know what I mean?
Sugar
we know
water.
We're talking. Yeah, exactly.
I did want to mention that when I showed the list to my wife and she saw that number 1 was a pizza pretzel. She had
All caps.
all caps. She had an incredible childhood memory of one of her friends' moms making them a pizza pretzel, and she fucking loved it. It seems like kids today don't really appreciate the pizza pretzel the way that you guys do.
Well, there's nobody making them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All this new school shit, man. You got to go back in the day to get the good ass shit. Let me tell you something. We used to go to Kim's Corner Store, okay, on the corner of Clearfield and Roar, all right? 25 cents. It was a pretzel with the pizza on it, and it was, honestly, man, it's like the best thing you ever eaten in your life. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a snack. It's whatever you need whenever you need it.
It's middle of the night, Get
Middle
up,
of the
3
night.
o'clock,
Middle of the night.
Yeah.
And you signed it. A bunch of our listeners have been tweeting at us. Stay free, my goose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like meditate. That's big shout out to Third Agent, man. That's our boy.
Yeah, meditate. You just got to meditate. It's very important these times.
Yeah.
You guys are yoga guys?
Not really.
Yeah, we
but,
do it
you know,
sometimes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, we've
Yeah,
done
we do.
it.
I had a hard time a couple times I did it. I ripped my pants both times because I was wearing jeans.
Yeah.
Also the
You know
feet.
what I mean?
I do the online ones. You know what I mean? But I just watch.
Right.
Calms you down.
It's very relaxing, honestly. You watch people do yoga. It's like you get the same amount of, like feeling from it.
That's right.
I just watched.
And stay free by goose is like it's about like appreciating the beauty, the natural beauty, and staying innocent and honest and free.
Yeah.
Like when you're watching yoga but not doing it, like
Yeah.
Tony does.
Yep. Well,
Right, Tony? Does that sound about right? I mean,
Yeah, it ain't bad.
he's more spiritual than I am.
I hear that.
Well, I gotta say, I'm glad that you guys seem to be doing okay during the COVID controversy. I hope you're both able to earn a living. It sounds like Tony, you are.
Yeah, I'm driving Lyft a little bit, and down here, like just mostly senior citizens though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got me set up with that too. So
Do you guys have a partition between your front and back seat?
Oh yeah, I'm in a
What is that?
hazmat
What's
suit.
that mean?
I'm in a hazmat suit the whole time. You know what I mean? Tony, isn't that how you do it too?
I mean, I got a van. You just put them in the back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
you
a
don't
cargo
put,
van.
You don't put the whole suit on then.
Nah, like I'm in the front, and then there's a van in the back, and they just sit back there. There's a little chair
Right.
back there.
I got you.
A chair. Like a stool.
Yeah, this
Like a
ain't no JJ Redick shit though, so don't start thinking that.
All right, no, that's good. I'm glad
Yeah,
you did
man.
that.
Ah, man, this is all above board. Okay.
Yeah, there ain't no fucking cages, none of that bullshit. This is full service.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you guys for coming on. We're really looking for the debut, the Hoagie Hour. Obviously, a huge podcast, still awaiting the release of the first episode.
There's a lot of, there's
Yeah.
a lot of ins and outs and what's have yous getting a podcast. You know what I mean? You got to figure it out. You
Yep.
know, you got to talk and,
You got to talk. You got to do it. You got to record it.
It's all the internet's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, World Wide Web, man. It ain't easy. We're figuring it out. We're learning.
Yeah,
you know.
2025, something like that. We're thinking.
Or 26.
Which one of you?
25.
Which one of you is the spike of the podcast, and which is the mic?
Yeah, we ain't really like that.
Yeah, man.
We share the tub. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's like sitting in a bathtub. You sit at the tub at the same time. You don't really, you don't get more water in one side of the tub.
Hoagie brothers, man. If we go to Wawa, get a hoagie, split in half, I take one, you take one kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's why we get the extra, so we got one for later.
Yeah.
So 2 hoagies.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys. We wish you the best. Your top 20 list was very very popular, and we appreciate your 2 appearances. Your second appearance during COVID. So
Yeah, we got to ask you one question now
boy.
before we go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You make shirts for fucking everybody but us.
Well, I don't own the why don't you guys make a shirt?
What is that? How do you
Hoagie
even do
Hour?
that?
Well, do you want us to put a shirt with Abby's art on it? Do you want us to sell a Hoagie
Yeah,
Hour?
we were thinking
that
it
would be
we
beautiful,
were
man.
thinking we got some good charities we could go into.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What kind of charities?
I don't really know yet, but we're going to figure them out.
We're
They're
still
going to be
figuring
very
it
good,
all-
though.
We're still figuring it all out. How to do the recording, charities. Yeah, we're just getting it very, very slowly.
But look,
slowly,
let us
slowly
get
off
the
ground.
let us get the shirt first. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? And then from there we can get the rest of it working.
We'll build it up, from the ground up with the shirt.
We could even sell them on the street.
You could, like before a concert or
No
or a ball
bootleg
game.
shit.
Yeah, with a bologna sandwich too. Like
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
That's a deal.
Well, I'll get to work on the shirt. Absolutely, we will release it maybe in time for the start of the Sixers restart.
yeah, man, that'd be awesome, man.
That'd be very, very cool.
Really
Even though I
nice,
don't really
man.
even care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got ADD, man. Don't worry about him. He doesn't
like
keep
that.
focused too long.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful, man.
All right. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Yep,
man, you
stay
guys
free.
are nice,
Stay
man.
free, Mike
Yeah,
Goose.
Stay free, my
I would love
goose.
to see you gooses down the shore sometime.
Absolutely, man. You guys are the best, man. I love you guys.
All right.
Well, we thank the Hoagie Hour guys. They do not disappoint. We'll have to get that Hoagie Hour T-shirt. The Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by our newest sponsor, that is By Nature Pet Foods. Mike, I demand the top quality for Rebel, for my dog, for my cat, Alabama, as well. The top quality is most important to me. I know if you're listening, you have a pet, it's important to you. That's why By Nature Pet Food is what you should get. And this isn't bullshit. This is real thing, just like the Big Barker. By Nature Pet Food, why is it better? Well, your dog or your cat, see, a human has like 4 hours to get the nutrients out of food. That's how long it takes to digest. A dog or a cat, it's like 45 minutes. So by them slow cooking the food, it makes it more nutrient rich, which means that your dog or cat is going to get more nutrients out of the food. That's important, right? Better for immune system support, skin and coat support, heart and brain and hip and joint health, all validated by a study at Kansas State. The slow cooking is super, super important, and By Nature is the only one that does it. They've been in business 40 years, a family-owned business, not one recall ever. And the other thing they do, which is important, is what they call superfusion. It is just high-quality ingredients that you don't find in other pet foods. Apple cider vinegar, spinach, blueberries, ginger, coconut oil, premium proteins, super ingredients. You look at the ingredients, the first thing is always the animal protein, which means that is the thing that is the most in the food. All dogs of all ages and all sizes. You don't need to buy like a specific one. And all designed to meet the nutritional levels established by the AAFCO dog food nutrient profiles for all life stages and all breeds. And I've mentioned on Twitter, when I'm walking my dog and he doesn't bark at another dog, I say he's in the good boy club. I keep score for him. He loves his good boy club score. If you order the By Nature pet food, take a picture with your dog with the By Nature pet food, send it to me. I'll put it on my Instagram, my Twitter, and officially put them in Good Boy Club or Good Girl Club. And we have a deal for you. Go to bynaturepetfoods.com, bynaturepetfoods.com, hit the Shop Now button on the ribbon, and you'll see a store locator, or hit Chewy. Go to Chewy, or you can just go to chewy.com, put some By Nature Pet Foods in the cart, use promo code RTRS20, you'll get 20% off your first order. Again, go to chewy.com and use the promo code RTRS20, get some By Nature Pet Food, get 20% off your first order. By Nature Pet Food. Slow
If it's good enough for Spike, it's good enough for your dog.
Yep. I broke vegan for it. I did. A brotherly love.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, when Mike, it was your idea to sell the Brotherly Love script, and you're like, I don't think anyone's going to buy it. Is anyone going to even want to buy this? And we decided to sell it for $5 to raise money for the Providence Animal Center Canine College and the Coded by Kids CBK Academy. And Touchstone Fireplaces came in and decided to match all of the donations. So at the end, we will have raised, actually now this is updated, $5,900 for the Providence Animal Center Canine College, Coded by Kids CBK Academy. Providence Animal Center was able to send this one dog, Tiny, that they wanted to send to Canine College, a 30-day program to get him socialized to go to a home and actually live somewhere, and that's going to do. So almost $6,000 for Providence Animal Center and Coded by Kids. Great work.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Pat and I are very excited that you guys bought the script and hopefully liked it, compliments only, and we got to raise some money for our fantastic charities. So good shit.
Yep. So thank you for doing that, Mike. I
got ideas. I got too many ideas. I got to cool it on the ideas.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for.
I'm good for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Talk to me in January.
Now, Frank from Touchstone Fireplaces, Touchstone Electric Fireplaces, go to zerodeadbirds.com. Use promo code TTP for 15% off. I was like, well, I'm going to leave it up to you when we do this. So Frank from Touchstone recorded a 4-minute review.
Oh, wow.
So we can either wait until the next time we do a Touchstone ad and do it right after that, or and you don't have to listen to it. I can.
No, he deserves it.
So
put it in there.
You put it
I'll
in
sit here and take it.
Okay. All right. So here is Frank's review of the Brotherly.
4 minutes. 4 minutes is a lot. 4 minutes of notes is a lot. It feels like it's the Howard Eskin notes secretly. I feel like you're about to surprise me with this.
Doing his own show.
Here, I'm on mild 18 of the day.
Yeah. So here is Frank with his Brotherly Love script review.
This is Frank from Touchstone Home Products, and this is my Brotherly Love review. First off, please note this review is coming right from a person who is still required to do his ABCs to make sure Mike didn't get screwed on the writing credits on the cover. So, with that as a warning or a preface, here we go. I started reading this totally tone-deaf to its use of documentary-style comedy, considering I've only seen 2 episodes of The Office in my life. So it took me a bit to get in the groove. I don't want you to think less of the little you know about me already, but yes, I don't watch The Office. Let's just say I've had employees who've commandeered the conference room as their personal office, and I could absolutely see the landlord soft pretzel episode happening. I've been there. I've been in the pretzel line, and it pains me. That said, with the guidance of my daughter, I got into a groove and started to apply dialogue to the cast members in my head. The sailing was smooth from there, and I rebounded nicely. Before I get into my more critical review, let me just point out how weirdly prescient this script is. It hit me 5 times in reading this that with a few more of the right twists and turns in your writing sessions, you could have sold this just based on your vision into the future. Wearing a ski mask at the mall, then getting tased at the mall? Shit, I wear a mask shopping now. And the tasing? Did you see the social unrest coming? That was amazing. Then the Office Cube references. God, all I could think about was how so many companies I know were steaming towards or moved towards open-air offices before this whole epidemic, and how all those corporate spaces are now pretty much empty and now require 2-foot-tall sneeze guards. You started a dialogue. The racist is learning. Wow, foreshadowing more social unrest? This is awesome. Then to top it all, watching the 2001 Finals Game 1, we're all watching those repeat games now, and they're awesome. Let's just say this should have been picked up for just the potential of you and Patrick to fall in more interesting foreshadowing. By episode 6, you might have been potentially handicapping Tesla stock. Season 2, episode 1, could have seen you giving us a savvy Sixers second round hot tip on a pick. Oh wait, hold on that one. Don't you do that now? Moving on to the rest of the script, I'll stick to the concept of what I'm all in on and what I'm all out on. First, what I'm out on. Crohn's disease jokes? The Crohn's gave me the cringe. Second, I've wrapped my head around this, but I'm not sure how one shatters both ankles in a brawl. Visualization isn't working, and thinking of how Ron Artest could have wounded his ankles in the malice of the palace, I can't get there. Third, make the leap. Go with Sixers Twitter instead of Philly sports group texts. I felt like you were so close on that. Would it make it more obscure and regional? Not. What I'm all in on. I'm in on the Thunder from Down Under. I would have vetoed the Real Deal as the nickname. Just call him Thunder. It's not Chocolate Thunder, but it's close. So it has that Sixery magic. I'm totally in on Clyde as the dad. Do I want to see Clyde's coin? Yes. Do I want him to drop an obscure Andrew Gaze reference in episode 7? Yes. Sign me up for Clyde supplanting mom as the moral center of the show, and I'm all in on Clyde's compromised credibility. How did he break those ankles? What's the real story? Who knows? So there you go. Overall, I'm in. I love the magical foreshadowing. I hope someday to be universally loved by my village, and I yearn to go home and make my son grilled cheese right about now. This is Frank from Touchstone, signing off.
All right. Thank you, Frank. Mike didn't have to listen to it. So.
Oh. I was like, okay, that was it.
Well, you're not going to. Yeah. So thank you, Touchstone. Thank you, everyone who bought it. And thank you to Providence Animal Center and Coded by Kids for doing the great work that you do. Before we get to the mailbag, Joel Embiid did a Zoom conference call. Couple of notes. Said that he believes he will stay in the bubble because all he does is stay home and play video games, but others will not stay in the bubble. He is suspect of other people, of the other players doing what they need to do. That seems fair. I also don't really believe that Joel Embiid just stays in and plays video games all the time. It's not what I heard.
What do you think he does?
Well, it's just not what I heard. I'm sure he plays a lot of video games, but just...
Hey, I expertly danced around my privileged information that I was giving to the podcast earlier.
I'm just saying, he's out sometimes. Like, let's not fucking... Come on.
He doesn't drink, though, he said, right?
That's... look, I don't have any specific evidence to the contrary. That's what he says. That's what his folks say. I do not have any specific evidence to the contrary that Joel Embiid doesn't drink. That's what he says.
Mm-hmm.
So... doesn't mean he can't go out.
You think he's out? You think he's playing video games out in the world?
I know he's out sometimes, yeah. But he's allowed to go out. I'm not saying he's allowed, but, you know, come on. At first, he didn't want to go. Then he said he is going to go, wants to represent Philly, thinks the Sixers have a, quote, good chance to win it all, and did say that he's going to continue to space the floor for Ben, who he thinks definitely wants to win. That was the... it was basically a completely silent quarantine time for Embiid, and I thought it was a pretty, uneventful him talking to the press, right? Like I There wasn't
Yeah.
anything in there that I thought was surprising to me about Embiid.
No, I think he said like sometimes my fit with Al isn't perfect.
Yeah.
But we all have to do our jobs, kind of thing. The team knows what the issue is. When we were talking to Zoe last week, or whenever, I guess on Sunday, he was like, I just want them to like each other. I just want them to feel like they're allowed to talk and have a nice relationship. And hopefully that's the case. Embiid and Ben always say nice things about each other. They just don't. They're just not friends. They're just not great friends. And that's. Would I rather them all be, Dario and Covington and TJ?
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe throw a Justin Anderson in there just to, juice up the joint.
In a bunch of different ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
maybe get Tony Roden in there. Fuse everybody together.
Yeah, I don't know how he played in TBT. I know he played, or his team was going to play. His Twitter's a little hard to figure out. Tony Roden. I never know what he's saying. Let's go to the mailbag. Lorenzo Brown mailbag. Writes Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com is where you can send us emails. Michael hasn't emailed us in a while. We have a few Michaels. He quit Twitter, and he is only an emailer. He emails us his thoughts pretty regularly. We haven't heard from Michael in a while. I was glad to hear from him. He said, I just listened to like 13 Rickies in 2 days and have caught back up in time for entrance into the Bubble Dome, which I think is a great. Spike said, paraphrasing, people just made me into a cat guy and got me a bunch of cat stuff, which is funny because now he's such a dog guy, he hawks beds. By the way, why isn't the extra large big barker called a bigger barker? And eats dog food on the pod. Very true. Basketball Twitter is full of AVCC dorks. I'll explain that in a second. And that Ben free throw tweet shows it. It's okay to say once he learns how to shoot, he can potentially be the best player in the league. That doesn't negate all his positives. Ben's going to win us a title this year, by the way. Empty Jim Simmons is Olympic Mellow. He's going to average like 24, 12, 10, and 4 and be a monster. We will tell stories of this asterisk title to our children for years.
Is this Frank's review? Ask a question.
Well,
what are we doing?
So my question is Empty Jim Ben Olympic Mellow, and is this Empty Jim going to create the Ben that we see in Empty Gyms on Instagram and Twitter and all of those things in the off season?
Well, Olympic Mellow delivered in a specific way and just wasn't the way other places. There's a ton of guys that do Empty Gym stuff that don't do it in the league. Ben is an obvious one because he's so talented doing so many things and then simply doesn't do one thing. I don't think I see the comparison, but I don't think it's quite there.
It's more hoodie mellow. And then non-basketball question, why are all A24 horror movies the same? They're generally slow and kind of boring, then build up to some weird thing that happens, and in the end, it involves Satan. I just watched Witch last week, and it was lame. The killing of a sacred deer was great, though, and it made me sad that the favorite was just plain Oscar bait.
That's not Oscar bait. That's insane.
You don't watch horror movies, right? You don't like horror movies.
Nah.
A24 horror movies are all sort of the same, but that's why I like them. I like slow. I don't like how they end. I didn't like how Hereditary ended. I did like, if you want to watch an A24 horror movie that I liked all the way through, it is dark, scary, a little Lynchian, and very weird. It's called Blackcoat's Daughter. Really like that movie. This comes from Legs. Legs, what are your thoughts on Michael Rubin potentially becoming the controlling owner of the Sixers? This is based off nothing in the news, just my own thoughts. I know you've talked about HBSC selling the team eventually, just wondering what you think about Rubin and if he'd be a good owner as far as spending and getting out of the way. He's one of the 10 richest owners in the NBA right now, but doesn't have a majority stake in a team.
I like making fun of the dude.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be better than what we have in like a sort of, Croce-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never heard him talk. I don't know anything about his personality, but guys seem to like him at least.
Mm-hmm.
So having some juice there rather than being just such a fucking finance dork like Josh Harris.
I think it's easy to be Michael Rubin in Michael Rubin's position. to be the minority owner and not have any say, really. No say, and be the cool guy that hangs out with Embiid. You can't really do that if you're the regular owner, or you become Daniel Snyder, Not that Michael Rubin is Daniel Snyder, but like just, going on vacations with the player is weird. You can't really do that. Michael Rubin's not going to buy the Sixers. Michael Rubin wants to buy, everybody is in competition to buy that Europe NFL team. And I think Michael Rubin is not going to buy the Sixers. And I think whoever buys the Sixers will be paying top price. And Michael Rubin doesn't need to do that. He can be a minority owner and get all the shit out of the Sixers that he wants to get, and then use his other businesses to make money, which is what, rich people should do if they want to have fun with a team, is be a minority owner and just have fun instead of ruining the fucking team like Josh Harrison. And
He should buy the Sixers for us.
For us. Yes, like as a gift, like we're his adopted children.
Yeah.
And then Legs, non-basketball question, who plays Mike and Spike in the biopic of all of this? I mean, I'll leave this to you.
The biopic of what?
I don't know, this. Process biopic. So we're not...
So, I mean, like, are we the leads?
Well...
Legs, ask a question with more context.
I think there's two options. The first option is the story is told through us as narrators, sort of like Bill and Ted. The other option is we are just like the small but significant part of the story that we are. Obviously calls for different actors, unless it's star-studded and somebody wants to play us like in a uncredited role but is very famous.
Like an Ocean's 11 style thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, can't Miles Teller play you?
No. Miles Teller doesn't have the juice that I have. I don't know. What act? There's no. I mean, like, I guess like a Dave Franco, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. For me,
Andrew Shamek can play you.
But he's not a fucking actor.
Well,
fuck.
I don't know. I don't know what actors look like you enough.
I
don't think I'd much rather be in the process 30 for 30 than I would rather be in a biopic.
Fiction,
I don't think that we should be in a biopic.
No, can I ask you, because I had this long discussion with James at work about this. I say biopic. He says biopic.
Yeah. I've said both.
Okay.
All
right. I think
it's a dumb word.
What's that?
I think the word is the problem. There.
I like that. I don't need to read the next email. I emailed the guy. It's about adopting dogs. Basically, all I wanted to do is say that he was emailing us. He's from Philadelphia, and he lives in Switzerland now. And he apparently there's no, like, stray dogs. There's no, like, shelters in Switzerland, and it's hard to adopt a dog. So, but we don't have a lot of Switzerland dog owners or Switzerland listeners. So the next one comes from Steve. Spike and Mike, the 3-point brigade came down to simple math. 3 points are greater than 2 points. I believe that the next NBA trend will be to target star players and try to get them into foul trouble. There are 2 to 3 players on each team that make a major difference. If the Sixers play the Rockets, they should just go at whoever James Harden is guarding every time to try to get him in foul trouble. Every time James Harden drives the lane, they should attempt to take a charge. Same thing for Giannis and others. This will be a future for the NBA, unfortunately, until the NBA adjusts to 7 fouls to prevent this nonsense from happening.
Wow, I like that he's pitching the thing and saying it's nonsense.
Well, it does seem like the same way that the Rockets have gamed the system with threes, that gaming the system with doing their best to try to get the other player in foul trouble is something that nobody has tried. Isn't it interesting?
I would disagree with that. There's definitely not a thing nobody has tried. I get frustrated sometimes when guys have multiple fouls early or at a point in the game and they don't go at him more. Mm-hmm. But people definitely try to go at guys in order to get them in foul trouble, or at least to make them work on defense so they're less, they have less energy for offense and stuff.
But don't you think what they do more is try to go at somebody who's bad at guarding as opposed to somebody who is important?
I think a lot of, like, you wouldn't go at Giannis every time because he's a very good defender. And in the same way that the way we covered Milwaukee last year, which was hug the shooters and try to let Giannis beat, Embiid or whatever one-on-one or take threes every time down, that sort of just stunts. And what we did with Toronto, honestly, and with Kawhi, it kind of just stunts the offense. Like, it's why Van Vliet did nothing in the Sixers series, because he was just standing around.
Yeah.
And then once in a while I get the ball and be like, oh, fuck, I haven't had the ball in 20 minutes. And so I think it stunts it. I would go, Harden's not a bad defender, but he certainly takes plays off. And if you have a guy that is covering him, like even if it's like, a quick little guard or something, and you could send, the first person to think of is like JJ Barea, and just send JJ Barea against Harden and just like try to get him into foul trouble early. I think that's a good idea for sure. A lot of players are too good to do that, and a lot of refs will swallow their whistle about that kind of thing, and be very mindful of the fact that this star player has 5 fouls, so like they'll really need to earn that 6th foul. But I certainly don't mind the idea that you should try to get the other team's best player in foul trouble if possible.
And I don't know how this qualifies as a non-basketball question. Is Brett the greatest Zoom coach of all time? I don't even know why we would think he's the greatest Zoom coach of all time.
I mean, he's very conversational. He could probably lock in over Zoom.
Yeah.
The way that other guys might be distracted. I feel like
He's
he'd
a little
be
wordy.
very inspirational.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely wordy. You're probably pulling up other tabs while he's talking and being like, okay, yeah, I'm going to just check out what's going on this sneaker website.
And before we get to our final question from Mark, which is a good one about Marial Shayok, our final sponsor, Colony Meadery, the official gluten-free booze made from honey of the process. They're open up in Allentown. The tap room is open, outdoor seating, slushy machine. Mead is gluten-free alcohol. It is, it's not an alcohol. It's like what do you always say? Like a cider wine. There's the can, which is the session meads, which are like 6% alcohol. There's the regular mead, all different flavors. The regular mead's like 12, 13% alcohol, all different flavors, from lemonade ones to Arnold Palmer ones to the rescue mead is up there, which is a blueberry ginger one with rescue dogs on it, which is fucking really good. Go to colonymeadery.com, use code Ricky for $5 off. And if you know somebody in your life who is gluten-free, this is a great option. There's so many different flavors, and they probably want more alcohol choices. I can promise you they want more alcohol choices. If you're in the area, it's available at Wegmans, every Wegmans in Eastern PA. But like I said, and like Mike has done, go to colonymeadery.com and use code Ricky for $5 off. And the tap room in Allentown, they just started the slushy machines, and I feel like I got to go up there and try them. Making slushies with the Colony mead. It's fucking great. So must be 21 to drink. Please get buzzed responsibly. Colony Meadery. Mark, basketball question. I was really interested in your discussion about Marial Shayok on the last podcast. This is from a little while ago. I'm a Ricky and Sixers fan living in Ottawa, Canada, which just happens to be where Shayok is from. I can't tell you how happy I was when the Sixers picked him in the draft. It's unusual to have anyone from Ottawa in the NBA, so to have him on the Sixers was a cool bonus. I am surrounded by mostly Raptors fans, even though we aren't actually that close to Toronto. So it was nice to finally have a tangible connection between the team and the city I live in. My question for you, given the unlikely confluence between the Sixers and Ottawa, should I feel obligated to make Shayok my favorite player? I'm really rooting for him, but also cognizant of the fact that my number one guy, Joel Embiid, is why I became a basketball fan in the first place. So I'm hesitant to give that up. Does he have to make Shayok his favorite player?
I don't have I've never felt like, and maybe this is like I've never had like a best friend. Like this is my one, and they're clearly and I don't have a favorite player in the way that. No, I mean there's guys that I've always liked, guys on the bench. In like I feel like this person can contribute in a role, in a limited, like special way. But obviously, like, is your favorite player the best player on the team? Because obviously it should be Embiid. But yeah, I mean, there's guys that I've held on to sentimentally for maybe longer than I should have, or maybe because they came on the podcast. But as far as the favorite player, you can root for him and hope that he's good. And if he's bad, you can hold on to him for probably a little too long. That's something we've all done, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the last favorite player... Well, no, I have had favorite players, like Starks, Roten, Covington. Yeah, I have. And yes, like, you can just like both. You don't, like, to your point, you don't need to make one your favorite player. And I don't think you owe Mariel Shayok anything because he happens to be from Ottawa. And then a final thing from Garrett. Hey, guys, thanks for all your entertainment and charity work. Basketball question. Hypothetically, if there was a bear with opposable thumbs and no claws, and who understood the basics of basketball, it can kind of dribble.
Naturally.
It can kind of dribble, shoot on one net, and defend the other. Which of these teams has the best shot to defend the bear? Let's omit the three-point line because it makes things a little more even. 3 Joel Embiids, 5 Ben Simmonses, 9 Mike Scotts, or 17 Howell Nettos against one bear with opposable thumbs and no claws.
How big's the bear?
Let's say it's a black bear, I guess. I don't know. The huge bear. Let's see. The black bear, average size black bear is... Man, I gotta use fucking Google. I mean, God bless.
And the bear knows how to play? Does the bear also hit people? Are fouls called?
Fouls are called. Average size of black bear is 4.5 feet long and weighs, it says 130 to 660 pounds. Let's say 400.
4.5 feet long?
Yeah, 4.5 feet long and let's say 450 pounds.
4.5 feet, not that long. Gonna have a tough time handling Embiid in the post.
Yep. But 450 pounds.
Sure. 17 Howell Nettos. By sheer force of will, and enough of them that if any of them died during the game, they'd still have plenty of guys to score and defend.
Yeah, it's got to be Neto.
I'd probably go 17 Nettos.
Yeah, I would too. I like the idea of Mike Scott's facial expressions going against the bear.
And 9 of them.
Yeah, somebody liked a tweet of mine from the Embiid Karl Anthony Towns fight, like recently. And it was a video of Mike Scott just like fucking grinning behind Embiid as they were watching the replay of the fight. Part of me wants to see that Mike Scott against a bear.
Yeah.
You know. Well, that's it.
Wow.
We have a big podcast this weekend. We have 2 guests. One of them is going to be a new member of the Rights to Ricky Sanchez team, which is very exciting considering we just introduced a new member this past week with Alonzo. So
it's just I would say it's just a good time for sports media. Contrary to what other publications would have you believe.
Look, there are certain publications that are getting rid of staff. We are simply adding staff. We will talk to you this weekend. Looking forward to it. Some great guests coming up in the next few weeks as well. Oh, and Mike is fucking gone. Are you down with TTP? Yeah, you know Lickface.
If you don't fuck with me,
then I won't fuck with you.
If you don't fuck with me, then I won't fuck with you.
If you don't fuck with me, then I won't fuck with you.
If you don't fuck with me,
then I won't fuck with you.
But if you fuck with me,
I'm gonna fucking kill you!
Time for plan B.